My name is Chris Lewis, and this is my testimony. My name is Chris Lewis, and this is my testimony. My name is Chris Lewis. This is my testimony. My testimony starts off at the age of 5 when I was molested by one of my friend's brothers. I went to sleep over at his house, and while the parents were gone, the older brother started to fondle me and have me do stuff to him that a 5-year-old shouldn't be doing in the first place. The following year, when I was 6, I lost both my parents to a murder-suicide. My mom had another man in Jamaica. My father found out, and with the rage of jealousy, September 21st, 1991, he stabbed her in her temple, slit her throat, and left her to bleed to death. I was the one who found my mother's body lifeless on her bed. I later found out that my father himself, he jumped off in Niagara Falls. And I was adopted, and in the home that I was in, I just had a real tough time with real love. Just thinking like my parents left me, parents are dead, I'm just me by myself. In the home that I was in, they had their own son, and I felt always the need of competition, that I had to prove myself, that I was worthy of acceptance. And I'm sure it wasn't anything to do with that, but just these lies that was being placed inside of my heart. And I excelled really well in soccer and stuff, so I was always praised for my athletic abilities. I struggled. They said I had a learning disability, so I struggled a lot in school. So just with that struggle and tussle of that mindset, I just really left me depressed. So I started to find peace and comfort in ladies and girls. This is in elementary school, so I would have a lot of girlfriends, always doing the kissing tag games, going behind the portables, and just trying to fill that void with that. And when I was 10, I actually got molested again, and this was by my foster parents. He had a son out in New York who'd visit ever so often on summer breaks and stuff. And I remember I don't remember what I did, but I did something that I wasn't supposed to do. And he kind of just bribed me and said, "Listen, if you don't perform oral sex on me, I'll tell and Uncle what you did." So me being 10, being afraid of getting in trouble, I started to perform oral sex on him. He asked me to stroke his penis and all these little things where he did that to me as well. And this would go on very often. Sometimes I would catch him watching pornography at nighttime and stuff. Then he would call me down and have me perform other stuff like that. And always just say, "Don't tell anybody because remember what you did." So I was always locked into bondage with that. And so dealing with that stuff, dealing with that type of trauma, I try to express it through women again. I was heavily into pornography at an early age, just witnessing, I guess you could say, my stepbrother watching it and stuff like that. So I wanted to act out the things that I saw. So I'd go to school and basically seduce these little girls into thinking that me touching them was okay. I had my way with words, so they all heeded to my words, and I was just really in a dark place. And I remember going into high school. That's when I got introduced to the drug scene. I was really, like I said before, I was really heavily into sports, so I didn't really understand what drugs were and all that stuff. But when I got to high school now, drugs were like the cool thing to do. So it was ecstasy, marijuana. I was like, okay, I want to try smoking weed. So I tried smoking it. Nothing really happened one time. So I was like, okay, this is just a joke. Nothing really works. And then I remember another time I tried it. We skipped a class last period and went out with some of my friends. One of them had their license. We went for a drive, and this is the first time I actually got high, and it was like, oh, I love this feeling. And so I remember got introduced to weed like that. And then I knew I had a passion for music, but I didn't want to disappoint my step parents because I was so praised for the athletic abilities. But I wanted to rebel, because I want to do what I want to do. So I started pursuing DJing and stuff like that, start running my own parties. And even from that point on, I just started to hang around with the wrong crowd. Basically crowds that, okay, let's make some money. How can we make money? I had a part-time job working at the movie theater, but that wasn't bringing in enough. So I kind of got introduced to counterfeit money. I'd buy it, try to sell it, use it, that type of stuff. Me personally, I started to steal. I got charged a few times. I even got caught with the counterfeit money, so that was like a federal charge on me. And from there, just my relationship with my foster home, or my foster parents, just started to really go downhill, because just all the stress that I was causing to them. And so I thought that was a perfect time where I could rebel. I just want to do my thing. You know what? I don't want to play soccer no more. I'm just going to do music. So I started to pursue that. And when I pursued that, I was getting a lot of attention from different people. And I remember one night, though, when things really did change for me, is it was a school night, and I was kind of just talking to this girl. And it was like maybe like 2 o'clock in the morning. We're on the phone talking, and I was like, you know what, you want to come over? She's like, how am I going to get there? I was like, don't worry, I'll come drive and get you. And I didn't have my license, and I ended up taking my my stepmom's car, Jeep Cherokee, black. Took it out, snuck out the house, went down. I remember she lived in Scarborough, went down to pick her up, man, and then brought her back to my house. And we were just fooling around, touching each other, kissing each other, and she's like giggling, all this nonsense, and I'm just like, girl, you gotta be quiet. My parents are in the next room. As soon as I say that, my door opens. My stepmom just looks at me, like, had that look like, are you serious, Christopher? And when she said my name, Christopher, I was like, oh man, it's a wrap. And she's like, young lady, you have to go home. And this girl's tripping, like, how am I gonna get home? I'm like, don't worry, I'll just go outside, I'll meet you at the bus stop. I snuck out the house again, took the car, dropped her home, come back, slept or whatever, wake up, go to school, and I'm telling all my boys like that. I'm like the Don, because I'm telling my boy, yeah, I brought such and such back to my house. And all my boys knew who it was. And they're like, what? How'd you do it? I was like, I just grabbed my mom's car, blah, blah, blah. I'm boasting. And I had soccer practice that day for the school. So soccer practice went around like 5 o'clock. I come home and I see all bags, like garbage bags, packed of my stuff in garbage bags in my room. And we were supposed to be moving, so I'm like, I guess we're moving early or something. And when my stepmom came home, she's like, yep, grab all these bags, you're coming with me. And I was just like, okay. Grabbed the bags, got into the car, and she drove me over to my sister's house. I have a few siblings, but this is the only one who lived in Ontario at the time. My stepmom was like, listen, I know your situation's not right, but I can't deal with Christopher no more. He's too much stress, you got to take him. And my sister's like, oh, okay, of course, right? And I just remember just feeling so like, wow, this is serious. That's when a new chapter of my life opened up. Got in touch with one of my other sisters who lived in Baltimore. And she came down to Toronto and basically was like, okay, listen, you could come move to the States with me, or you could stay here. Your situation, you're a foster child, you could probably get some help with the government, that type of stuff. And I guess you could say I came to my senses real quick, because I said, you know what, if I stay here, sis, I'm just gonna wild out. There's no way I could be on my own the way I'm living. Like, you know what, let's just go to Baltimore. Let's try a thing and go to Baltimore. So she's like, all right, cool. And even in the midst of that, she was like, okay, well, I know your father left you a nice little lump sum of money. What happened with that? Do you know anything about your trust fund? I was like, what? I had a trust fund? She's like, yeah, your dad left us, we're not even his kids, and he left us a nice little change of money and stuff like that. You must have got something nice. And I had no clue. Come to find out, I asked my foster mother, she said, you know what, it's all gone. We were living together and I needed the help and stuff like that. So I was just really that made me really angry and bitter, because it made me feel that I was only taken in because of money. And then I guess when it was all finished, no, it was all done, out to the curbs I go. So with that mindset of, okay, I'm just being used for money, I went to the States thinking like I just was just angry and just bitter. And I had something to prove, because it was always said that, you know, Christopher will never amount to nothing because he's always getting in trouble. All he loves is woman, girls. Pato comes out. All he likes is girls and stuff like that. So I was just like, yeah, okay, you know, I'm gonna go and make a change or do something. Lo and behold, though, I get to the States, and my sister, I was living with my sister, and her husband at the time, he was kind of a don himself in the hustling game. So I just saw the lifestyle he was living, the cars. I seen shoe boxes of money underneath their bed. Like, I was just like, what? Okay, you know what I mean? I want to live that life too. You know what I'm saying? So I started to pursue. I got somebody who got me some cocaine. I had people selling it for me and stuff like that. Start making a little money. But the person that I had working for me, they got caught. So when I found out they got caught, I got really scared. Just for the fact, like, listen, this guy's gonna bait me out. He's gonna snitch on me. So, you know, I just had to lay low. I was acting like I never did nothing. So I was like, okay, you know what? I'm good at music. I love DJing. So I started throwing my own parties, making mixtapes. My sister had a CD burner, so I'd sell them at school. So I was making a little money, but nothing crazy. I'd throw my own parties and stuff like that. So I would just fall in love with that vibe, that lifestyle, that just the fame of it. So high school, a lot more weed in the States, a lot more weed. And there I was introduced to alcohol, heavily drinking, like Hennessy straight. And in I remember grade 11. Now, I remember I said that how my brother-in-law was doing his thing in the hustling game, and I came home. Me and my nephew. One of my nephews are older than me, and this is grade 11. He met up with me after school. We started smoking some weed. Like, yeah, man, finished grade 11. Felt good. You know, they said I couldn't do it. Feeling good, blazing up. And I remember it was some really strong THC because I was pretty high. And we go back to the house now, and we get there, and me and my nephew are kind of like tripping because we open the door and like all the stuff is all over the ground. Purses are open, drawers, knives on the floor. Like, it's just like somebody came in. Like, I thought me and my sister and her husband got to a serious fight, or we got robbed. My nephew goes upstairs looking for his mom and stuff like that. Can't find her. And my room, they built a room for me in the basement. And down there I had my DJ set, I had my bedroom, nice little living room. It was just a nice little spot. I go downstairs, and I have a lot of nieces and nephews. So all my nieces and nephews are tied up on the floor. My sisters are all tied up on the floor. My brother-in-law, I guess he had some people from Atlanta come down, pick up packages. I caught the play, you know what I mean? They were family members supposedly, but that was the thing. There was a guy and a girl, they would come, chill for a couple days, then leave. So I kind of feel like they're probably picking up a shipment or delivering something. They were on the floor tied up. They were looking like, yo, they're here still. They're here. I'm like, who? The man, the boy. I'm like, which boy? And I'm really high, so I'm like, is this really happening? And I had to untie them. Come to find out, people came looking for my sister's husband. I don't know, whether to rob him, to kill him. I don't know the whole details of it. But lo and behold, that's what happened. I witnessed all that. Come to find out, they had guns to their heads and all these little things that just kind of just broke my heart. That my sister, me being, even though I'm the baby brother, I still just made me a rage. Like, I got to do something about it, right? But that was just my heart, my motive. And even my nieces and nephews witnessing all that. So I just